Hey guys, in this episode, we're going to talk about the new film, A Star is Born, starring Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. We're going to talk about the music, the plot, and if it met our overall expectations. This is episode 81 of the Reel-ists Podcast. Hey everyone, I'm Donnie.
And I'm Oscar.
And we have our producer Ruben here.
Hello.
Oh, Ruben is in the mic this time. I was going to say this morning for some reason.
Okay.
So we have a special treat for you listeners. Our producer Ruben is going to be speaking on this episode. So we're pretty excited. Ruben, thank you so much for being here. Up close in the mic for everyone to hear.
You're welcome. It took a lot of time out of your day.
This opportunity.
I know, right? So I'm, as always, just want to thank our listeners for tuning into us. We appreciate you. We appreciate the support. If you're new, thank you for choosing the Reel-ists Podcast to listen to. We like to talk about film and consider certain scenes and aspects and how they tie into real life. So that is our angle, but we cover a whole broad spectrum of things film related. So you're going to get to hear some of that. Sorry?
We heart movies.
We heart movies. We bleed film in cinema. So thank you for joining us. Remember, you can catch us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Team Reel-ists, Team REELISTS, no dash. And you can also drop us a comment on YouTube and on iTunes.
Apple Music.
I know. I always want to say that on iTunes. Sorry. Once we get our music out, our first EP release will be on Apple Music. So anyways, thank you guys once again so much. And I think we're ready to just jump right in. We have a lot to talk about.
Spoiler alert discussion.
Oh yeah, very spoiler.
Very, very spoiled. So, if you haven't seen it, you know what to do. A Star is Born, starring Lady Gaga, starring Bradley Cooper, directed by Bradley Cooper. Very exciting. Loved the film. Let me just give you guys my quick thoughts because I'm just kidding. No, but Ruben, since you're going to be on this episode, well, I'll let you go first.
You always do this to me.
Do I?
Every time you're like, so Ruben, what do you think? I'm just like, oh man, I was supposed to go off of what you guys said.
Oh, I mean, okay.
No, I can go first.
All right. I just wanted to give you quick thoughts.
Oh,
Quick little rundown on what you thought of A Star is Born.
Let's see.
Which is, by the way, I think the fourth version?
Yeah.
The fourth remake of this film?
Confirmed.
Yeah. 1, 2,
Thank
3,
you.
4. Yeah.
Thank you. Fact checker, Oscar.
Yeah. So I really liked it. At first, I will say I had really high expectations, and I was a little disappointed. Not disappointed. I'll take that back. It just didn't meet expectations. I thought it was a really good movie. And then I rewatched it again with my mom and my sister, and I was able to kind of watch it with a clean slate and just kind of watch it for what it was. And I do agree it was a really good movie, and I really enjoyed it. And I think it has a lot of great aspects. It's not perfect, that's for sure, but overall it was a really good movie. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. Oscar, you're up next.
Bouncing off of that, same kind of vibe to it, I guess. I did enjoy this movie. It was a story that I really did follow through. We'll go into details of things that were kind of just surprising to us in terms of the story plot line. But no, I mean, I really did overall was satisfied with it. The music, I would say, has definitely good songs. But personally, this is just me not saying like the album or critiquing the album. Songs that I probably won't listen to on its own. Maybe like if I'm thinking of the movie, I'll probably watch the video online or something along those lines. There's a few that I enjoyed the most than others, but the album itself is really good, just not a personal album, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. The soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack. Yes.
Gotcha.
So that was nice. It didn't meet. It was kind of tough because my expectations for this was just I wanted just a good story that was going to leave me with a satisfaction of I saw A Star is Born. Like I saw the journey of an artist, and it gave us that, but it didn't give us that in the way I thought it was. So it kind of didn't meet that expectations of it. but every other aspects, the acting, the music, the directing, that kind of all that stuff, was on par with my expectations. It was just the way the story played out was the only thing that didn't meet my expectation.
All right, I can respect that. I kind of agree with both of you guys. Liked the film, thought it was pretty solid. My expectations were a little high for this one because it was so hyped up, and we were just getting all these good reviews about it, and I mean they had been promoting it for so long, and I was just like, every time I saw the trailer in the theater, I was like, oh my god, it's coming, I can't wait. That's always tough too.
It's coming for a lot of movies down this.
That's always holiday. So tough when a film, when you go into a movie with such high expectations, it's hard because a lot of times it does disappoint when your expectation, when the bar is set that high. Not saying this film disappointed, but the bar was set really, really high. I thought it was going to go a little differently. I thought the film would have a couple things in it that it did not have in it, and we'll go into detail on that. But overall, I did like it. I thought it was good, and I thought the music was really good. I would listen to a handful of the songs. I have listened to a handful of the songs from the soundtrack, over and over. But as a whole, I haven't. And the soundtrack has a lot of dialogue that we talked about. They
have now on Spotify at least, they have an album version without dialogue, which is kind of cool.
That's better.
Yeah, but I don't know if all the platforms have that.
Because it's it just seems like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they're trying. I mean, they're trying to tell a story with the soundtrack, so they're putting I guess key dialogue.
It does
scenes.
Go in order,
right?
Which is cool.
Which makes sense, but it's
and
just
I can only imagine that the songs themselves, because of the circumstance that the artist is becoming someone famous, that they're not necessarily songs that relate to what she's going through at that moment, and then in the way that a normal soundtrack to a movie does, that the song that's playing is currently how the storyline is taking place. If it's if they're falling in love, then it's a love song. If they're breaking up, it's a breakup song. That kind of style, it's different because she is becoming an artist, so she's just making music that would be a hit.
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of hard to follow along. If you're just listening to the album, you wouldn't necessarily be like, oh, I see where this journey of her career goes.
Yeah.
Not entirely.
I actually today, we were literally going over his impression, and we're like, no, but we're going to talk about this instead. No, you can finish. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Go ahead. I won't. What do you got?
No, okay. Just a thought about that is that today I actually noticed that it was a little literal, because I listened to the album today, and with the dialogue, I listened to it, and like I mentioned, it does go in order. But even though some of those songs are supposed to be Allie's songs, the character songs, they actually are pretty. How would I say? They do go with the scene. For example, there's a song that's right after that argument that is in the bathtub.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a song that wasn't in the movie, but it's on the album. And I'm assuming it's supposed to be an Allie song, and it literally is about making her cry. So I'm like, that's a little too on the nose. Yeah. But and a lot of them are like that. And right after the wedding, it's literally a wedding song. And
okay.
So and since it's in order, you can and that's the cool part that I kind of liked about the dialogue, is that what part they're talking about in the movie, and then you can see how the song relates to the scenes or that part in the movie. The only ones that are a little off are the pop Alley songs, which are literally. But then I guess that kind of refers to this is a part where she's a pop star,
where she's losing her sense of self in a sense, her songwriting, all that kind of stuff. No, it's fine. I was just gonna quickly read the.
I was just gonna do my job.
No. I was just gonna quickly read the synopsis from Google. Seasoned musician Jackson Maine discovers and falls in love with struggling artist Allie. She has just about given up on her dream to make it big as a singer until Jackson coaxes her into the spotlight. But even as Allie's career takes off, the personal side of their relationship is breaking down as Jackson fights an ongoing battle with his own internal demons, aka his alcohol addiction, drug addiction. Mm-hmm. Which doesn't surprise. I mean, so just going to the plot and going to how the film played out, I feel like you got a pretty good sense of all of that in the trailer. Mm-hmm. They showed that he was already established. She was oh my God, no, I can't do this. And he kind of pushes her into the spotlight and helps her kind of get her career going. You see him, you know, shakily opening a bottle of alcohol in his limo. So you know he's dealing with addiction. They wouldn't just throw that scene in the trailer for nothing, I don't think. And then, you know, you see a scene of them like smashing cake in their faces. So, you know, they get married. So, you know, it's just going to be this kind of, from what I thought it was going to be, this tumultuous kind of ride of their relationship and that sort of thing. So it's not like the plot fit the trailer fit the plot. Like what they were showing you, it pretty much is what you were getting, which was, I guess, good and not good. I mean, I was expecting, and we talked about this. I'm going to say that all night. We talked about this already. I thought it was going to be more there. I thought the relationship was going to be more kind of volatile, more toxic, more him with his addiction and her career blowing up, that there was going to be more like headbutting, more arguing, more just bad stuff in the relationship. Like I thought it was going to come to like this really sweltering, boiling point where things were just going to explode. And but I feel like it was pretty calm in that sense. It was pretty simmered down, which was a little, that is one of the things that disappointed me, because I mean, he did have his battle with his addiction. She was her career was getting, you know, more bigger than his, but I mean, for the most part, they still stayed pretty sweet towards each other and loving towards each other. And her character, Allie, she stayed pretty humble, you know, and it never got really nasty. Things never really got nasty between them, which I guess I don't know if I was expecting that or if I just wanted that, but I didn't get it. So I was like, okay.
I think it was implied from the trailer. The trailer, it was implied that was going, or you assumed it was going to happen. I mean, I had the same thoughts too. I thought that was going to happen. But I liked what you said. What was that analogy you said? Like it was like the
the tea kettle. Yeah. Like it was, the water was boiling, but it never whistled.
Yeah. It was like that the whole time. And not only with just their relationship, but I felt like it was like that with her career too. Like nothing ever was one way or the other. And what I wanted to ask, what I noticed was that so, you know, she never had opinions one way or another. So there was never this kind of like sense of, I need to be a singer no matter what. But there also wasn't like, I'm going to be a singer and I'm going to hold my ground. You know, there was never one way or the other. The most objection she gave was during the dancer scene when she's like, I'm not going to have dancers. But then the next scene she has it. And then he told her about her hair. And she was like, what? And then she still got it done. Yeah. So, and there was never one way or the other. And it never showed a conflict either of, I hate that this is what I'm doing. Or the opposite of saying like, this sucks that I have to be this way or anything. There's never anything. And the only reference of that is when he calls her out when they're in the bathtub. And it seems like she's okay with it because she's defending herself and her music. Yeah. But outside of that, you know, there's no one way or the other.
Right.
Well, isn't that the argument because it was his movie, that this is about him more so than her? So like for us to see her, it's just her going through these milestones, but we're getting his feelings and reactions more so than hers.
It's like told through his perspective, it seems like, and maybe that's what it was, because like you were saying, it wasn't one way or another with her. It was just, we were watching her kind of rolling with the punches and just, okay, I need to change my, like you said, I mean, she had objection towards the dancers, but that was pretty much it. We saw like her, you know, aspiring to want to do this, but I feel like more so with what's his, Jackson or whatever his name is, that guy. Jack. We saw, you know, we got a better sense of what he was going through mentally, emotionally in the scenes more so than we did with her. Is what it felt like.
Yeah. But see, that was the thing. I when I left that movie, I felt like it was more about her. I don't know if it was because I was paying more attention to her, because his whole storyline was the addiction, you know, and the most you really saw from him was, I don't know. I mean, he was either performing or doing drugs or drinking, right? Well, I guess the movie does start off with him, like it's his journey into finding her at the bar and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I've heard that too, that it has to do more with him, but I felt like it was pretty even, but I don't know. That was just my impression from it.
Did you gonna say something?
Oh no.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought I saw you leaning in. But speaking of, so Lady Gaga as Allie, Bradley Cooper as Jackson, or did we buy their chemistry? Did we think it was like really, really good?
Yes.
Yes, in terms of their chemistry, I think so. I think they really had a natural development, a natural growth, despite these jump skips of moments.
Jump skips. That's
but I really feel like I was able to believe that they were in a relationship, that they had interest in each other. It just started to get a little fuzzy when they started to reach the milestones, but it's just like they just had their own thoughts, and we never developed with them with those thoughts. It was always like they landed, they didn't land. They met, they had interest in each other. He helps her out. They start to fall in love, more developing, and then they just start doing the jumps to the milestones, and then you just start seeing he has some different opinions, or he's trying to remind her, hey, this is, do what you want to do, keep it true to yourself. So that part of it was not the best in terms of, for me, to continue believing in the relationship. It slowly started becoming where it felt more of a different character, a different character's relationship. Because it's kind of, I know that, yes, years down the road you would believe, okay, they naturally grew apart, but I know movies can time skip really well for us to know that they're, where the relationship's at. And I feel like this one kind of was just doing a lot of spurts.
Yeah. And it's crazy because after we had seen the film, I know you both were kind of thinking that the pacing of it was pretty slow. And it's weird because it did feel like that, but it was we were hitting all these major milestones and going through her career, going through their relationship. So,
but it wasn't enough. That's why I feel like that's the counter to that. Yes, we were seeing a lot of these things, but we weren't seeing enough.
Yeah. We were glancing over them.
Yeah.
And we were stopping on dramatic parts, which made it feel slow.
Yeah. So the slowness is not necessarily a matter of where the story is at. It just felt slow, that it felt we kept seeing moments play out, and then another moment play out, and then another moment play out.
Mm-hmm.
With baby moments in between that, oh yeah, this happened, and then it's next big drama.
Right.
Yeah.
No, for sure, I agree.
I think would have worked. We know the ending here, but I think it would have worked if he was retelling this story to someone in that capacity.
Yeah.
Because that probably would have been then he's just thinking of what he remembers. And of course, when you think about something, you're describing something, you most think of the big moment. So I could see if that was the angle, but clearly that
would have made sense too. Because like we said, it seemed to be coming from his perspective, a lot of the things, and he would have remembered the milestones and the big things, or the big arguments, or the key moments in the relationship. So that would have made sense. But unfortunately,
wow. Yeah.
Unfortunately, he could not. His character could not do that.
There was no A Star Is Born 2 coming out.
Yeah.
No, but my take on it was that there was potential, and I believe that if they were to have represented them better, there would have been potential for us to get that more immersive, they were so in love. And my take from it is those scenes that are in the montages and in the music videos that have come out online promoting the film, or the commercials, the deleted scenes that you can just see of them together, you can just see the chemistry, which is good. But I feel again, the only time you see them together is during that montage after the or during their little touring. You didn't even see them sing together besides Shallow, which I definitely think that was a bad move. Not a bad move, but I would have definitely added to the love story, because they sing really good together.
Yeah.
They harmonize amazingly.
Yeah.
And I'm damn, and that just adds to it, because nobody else could have done that, and that's such a rare thing that they're able to get two random actors, an amateur actress, that they can sing,
but an amazing
and he can
singer and
sing
musician,
and sing good, and that they can harmonize together, and that she can, But my other thing too was that the chemistry was good, but again, I felt there was never a way that she was never overwhelmed by him either. During his struggles, you never saw a conflict within her, besides like the time after the Grammys when she's talking to her dad. But then she goes and sees him at rehab, and then she's like, no, it's okay. Right. And there was always an okay, but she would never seem like stressed about him. She never seemed like he's taken over my life, and I don't want to skip too far in, but the whole point about a lot of the Star is Borns is that the ending happens, the way it happens is because he feels bad that she's giving up her career for him or doing something to her career for him. And I never got that. I mean, I never took it like that. Like, oh my gosh, he feels so bad because of her career. This one, it was kind of like he felt bad because somebody told him it could affect her career. Right. But it was never like she was like, I'm going to leave and take care of my husband, you know? Like,
wait, so in the other ones, he was doing something to... But it wasn't... They weren't
like
all...
giving up their careers. They were planning on either ending their careers or doing something dramatic to take care of him because it was like the love part of it.
But
like,
when you say take care of him, like, was he sick? He was sick in the other ones too?
Yeah.
Okay.
So literally, it just like every Star is Born is the same, like bare bones. So guy meets girl, he discovers the girl, they build off of each other.
Right.
The same award scene happens in every one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not cool. The exact same, but the same gist. Of him, and that's like the whole like downfall. Then,
but like in the other one, but the only thing that I was confused on was the endings for like how he
and
like
they
how
all end the same too. But they all end with them.
But like one of them, it was a car accident, right?
Yeah, like the ways he dies are different.
Okay.
But well, I guess he dies. But
they're always we warned them it was a spoiler, so
it's always for some. It's never on. It depends on how, but yeah, it's not always on purpose.
Okay.
But it could technically be taken as on purpose.
Right.
Because like the Barbra Streisand when he like relapses, but kind of on purpose, you know. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know, just goes on a binge, I guess, because he sees that he feels guilty because she wants to, take care of him or whatever the fact is. But it all kind of has to do with that. And again. So, and you never feel like that. I never feel like she's like so invested. I don't feel like she's not invested, but you never get that explicitly like, wow, she did all this for him, you know, and she just loved him unconditionally, which you do know they love each other, but it's just kind of sprinkled there. Like, you just have to understand that. That's literally it. Like, you need to fill in the blank. Just understand that they love each other, basically.
Yeah. Just know it. Just know it
and you're good. And it'll make sense later on, basically.
Right. You had said something, you're talking about the music and how they sing together beautifully and harmonize together beautifully. And they do. And on the soundtrack, there's even more songs that showcase that. But I wanted to say, this is something that has really been like, was a pet peeve of mine in the film. And we're talking about like being realistic and how it would really play out in real life. And, the only real time that you saw them singing together was Shallow, and that scene, I love. That's not my favorite song on this soundtrack. It's my second favorite, but that scene really did bother me because in the scene, she was like, she came to the concert on a chance that she would just change her mind. The bodyguard was like, hey, he wants you to come, and she's like, I have work, so she might have not come. She might have come. She ended up coming. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, hey, I did this arrangement of this song. I told Oscar about this all, by the way. So she was like, I did this arrangement of this song, the song you were singing to me in the parking lot. So she sang like a few. No, okay. She sang him bare bones. Talk about bare bones. Yeah. She sang a few little words of the song Shallow. So he was able to, you know, he's a musician. So granted, yes, maybe he can come up with a quick little arrangement. The fact that it was in the perfect key for both of them to sing was like, okay, that's a little unlikely to happen in real life. And A, and B, he's singing it, and then she finally comes out on stage and starts singing it with him, and it's like it just wouldn't happen.
When to sing together,
and they know how. Right, they know exactly. And for, I mean, even taking it to the part of when I guess you could call it the bridge, when they're like in the shallow. Yeah. How would they even know to sing it? To sing it like that, to sing like, how would they know those are the words? Yeah. In the shallow. Yeah. Like they would have had to have practiced that or rehearsed that. Exactly. B, they would have had to. I keep saying A and B. Like, move on to the next letter here. C. Like they would have had to establish. Back to A. They would have had to establish who's going to sing the harmony, who's going to sing the melody.
Yeah.
So that's another point to make. D, I feel like, I mean, normally when you're singing on stage, you have to do some kind of mic check to see how you sound. And you either have to have an inner ear so you can hear yourself, or you have to have a monitor blaring at you, because there's going to be lag. You're in an arena, so you're playing. There's going to be a little lag once the sound goes out. So you have to hear what's being played closely, so you can make sure you're singing, like on the right tempo, on the right beats.
Yeah.
So the whole way that scene was constructed, realistically, from like a musician standpoint, would not play out like that. And it was a beautiful performance. It was perfect. And
it was like the milestone, I think, of like the movie, which, it's like the big thing.
That's like the big number.
Yeah, because
that's the draw.
Yeah, that just like gets everything like boom, like everything just goes from there. Mm-hmm. But no, you're right. I had that written down exactly but I took it differently, but not in a completely different way. Just because I wanted to be convinced by it, so I'm like, maybe this is another fill in the blank moment where maybe they want us to assume that maybe they worked on this song the whole night, because when he dropped her back off at the house, it was morning. So maybe like it's just supposed to be understood that they worked on the whole song. Maybe they worked on the lyrics. Maybe they worked on a minor like melody. I don't know. And maybe he made an arrangement. But that's the thing too, like you said. I'm like, but if he had only heard those words, that means he made up the other words. That means she knew when to get into the song. Mm-hmm. It makes no sense. The only thing that made it a little, that they tried to make it realistic, which is different. And I noticed it because from the music video, it's different because obviously it's like radio friendly. In the movie, they lag when she jumps into the song, almost like she didn't know when to start singing. Like
for Shallow?
Yeah. Like there's like a slight and she sings like a beat after,
oh, okay.
Which to me was like perfect, because then it made me get that realism. I'm like, well, duh, she doesn't know the song, like she's never heard this arrangement, so of course she wouldn't know when to start singing. And I was like, but then after that, you're right, they would never know when to sing together, how to sing together.
Yeah.
When she needs to like do her little runs.
How does she
like
know
what parts are not
exactly, and like what part's coming next, like
yeah. How many choruses you put in there?
And how, or just even that when she does the ha ha ha,
yeah.
like, okay, if you're gonna do that, that's fine. But how do you're trusting that the band is then gonna jump back into the chorus, like, right? Like, those are things you have to practice, and that's why there's rehearsal. Yeah. Like, you don't just, it doesn't just happen like that, you know?
Man. This doesn't just happen. No, you're
this
right.
is why we rehearse.
No, you're right.
No, but
right.
I mean, so that was
I
one.
thought the same thing, and it's one of those things that's like you said, the thing that made me, I don't know, it's one of those things that you just have to, if you want to be at peace, you just have to be like, whatever, like, I'm gonna let this go. But it bothered me the first time I saw it. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, this is so, why couldn't they just lie? And why couldn't they just say, we rehearsed, remember that song we rehearsed the other night?
Yeah, remember the first night we met,
and we stayed up all night rehearsing it? Why couldn't they just say that? We wouldn't know the difference.
That would have been,
and it didn't make a difference whether they did or didn't. It's not like it added to the romance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for all we knew, they could have been up all night working on that song, and they're finally playing it live. You never know. So
I agree.
Oh man, but that's funny that you have that written down. What else do you have written down? It looks like you got like a little list over there. Yeah. I want to make sure we get your points in.
Let's see. Oh, well, let me see if I don't know if we want to jump to the end. Well, it's not like the end, but to talk about the ending. But no, you know what I wanted to talk about? So the whole part when she becomes like a pop star. So like the whole SNL thing.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys realized or if you're conscious about it, but obviously the song from SNL was a lot more just gratuitous, sexy song for no reason. Like literally, like she's just talking about ass and texting and it's a very
gimmicky.
It's very harsh contrast.
Just to confirm, that's the "Why Did You Do That"?
Yeah,
okay.
That's Oscar's jam.
I like that song. And here's why I'm bringing it up.
That is a catchy song.
Because it is.
Why did you do it?
Yeah, and when I heard it, I'm like, this is so lame. And then, but you know what? Side note: Lady Gaga, every time she takes out an album, you'll be like, well, I have. Me and my friend, we've heard it, and we're like, this album's like not that great. And then you just keep listening, and then later on, you're like, did you hear this song? Like song number 3, and then you just love it, and I don't know what she puts in there, but eventually you're just like, that's my favorite song. When at first you're like, this is stupid, and I don't know what she does, but anyways, but my sister actually pointed this out, and she was saying like, did you see how like she's like, didn't you kind of feel like she was making fun of pop stars by doing that? And then I'm like,
Ally or Lady Gaga?
Lady Gaga, by like making that the song that would be Ally's song. Mm-hmm. Which, and then I feel like it did have some kind of commentary, and like understated commentary, because it's true. Like usually,
like speaking to real life.
Yeah, speaking to real life. Like anybody becomes a pop star, and it's like, what do they get big off? Some random dumb song that has literally no depth to the lyrics. And I felt like she really. And no, my sister was like, I feel like she was making fun of those girls that just, they get famous and that they just have a stupid little song and that makes no sense, or that's just gratuitously sexy. And I'm like, you know what? I kind of see that, and especially because Lady Gaga.
I don't know how she would make fun of it though, because her career started off like that as well.
But not really. I mean, her songs are always really even though they're
like Just Dance and.
Well, yeah, but all her songs, even when they're like they talk about something that you think they're talking about, they usually have other meanings to them. Mm-hmm. Whereas this one, it's like, what other meaning could it have? And it's literally the same.
Why did you do that?
But I personally did take it like that, and she said it herself. I mean, I watched this interview, and she said that the whole thing, which again, I didn't get this off the bat, but she said, Lady Gaga said about how she started off in like with her deep songs in the beginning of the movie, and then she gets into this to these like really generic songs by the end. And that's like the whole like journey that she goes through. And it is true. I mean, she does by the end of her, from what you see of her career, which I think SNL is probably the last song you see of her performing as Ally. But yeah, I thought there was commentary there.
That movie's Ally.
Well, I mean, as a singer, as a singer. But I thought it was a good point to be made, that I felt like there was commentary there, and I thought it was cool. Yeah, thought it was smart.
I mean, I always interpreted that part as just the business, the management thinking they know what's best and how to make money and sales. Mm-hmm. I mean, which to some degree, from what I think, I mean, I'm no way close to the industry to be like, yeah, that's true. But yeah, that you don't really have much say in your first few albums until you've been established, and at that point you get like your own.
You get more creative control.
I think the only thing that you may get some credit from the beginning is the writing for songs. Like you may, if you contributed to some capacity, but that's how I interpret it. I never interpreted it as like any kind of Ally personal journey. It was always just like, this is the journey of how you go from, wanting to be a singer in this case and going through the bumps of like, no one's listening, no one cares. People are giving you the ugly comments, and no one's giving you any bit of hope. To the one person that sees you as someone that can be in the business and is talented, and then goes through that journey, and then it starts reaching the milestones that yes, your album is #1 on sales, top billboards, nominations, awards, and then the whole like, you have a husband that's side railing you, not in a side rail, but getting you to think about which path you want to go on. That's always interpreted. So yeah, I mean, I never took it as like a personal like motivation behind it.
Me either. So. And that's what I found weird, was that it's like, for example, Lady Gaga seems to think that that's something that was obvious. Like, she goes, because they could have put any song in there, to be honest. As long as it was a poppy song, you get like, this is her pop career, It didn't have to be this, but she obviously did it on purpose, because she said so. She's like, the lyrics changed to more generic lyrics, more just boppy, whatever, sticks, as opposed to her deeper lyrics in the beginning. And I think that's what's weird too. And again, that kind of contributes to what we were talking about earlier. There's a lot of fill in the blanks. Like, you have to fill in the blanks, because they don't even make mention of that even in there. Ally never says, my lyrics are so weird. The only thing is Jackson says it, but it's in a fight and he's drunk, so you can't even take him seriously.
The only thing he says is when they were both on the rooftop looking at her billboard, and then remember he kind of said something like,
Oh yeah, he did say that.
I don't even know what he said. It was something along the lines of like, don't lose sense of yourself,
Yeah.
and you gotta stick to your guns, kind of thing. Like,
And that was before you even saw any of that, which I'm like, that was.
but I feel like that was a good little prelude to what we were gonna get,
Yeah.
because I knew. I mean, you know how it's gonna go. You know she's gonna. Management wants her to like change her hair and you know put in dancers, so you know they're gonna start affecting the music itself, and wants things to be more pop friendly, radio friendly, and more gimmicky. So I like that they had put that scene in there, and like I feel like it was a good start to what you knew was to come. And then once it kind of quote unquote exploded in their fight, which it didn't explode, but I do love that whole scene of their fight. I wish it was more amped up, but I love that he came in drunk and was like, I just explain it to me. How did you get 3 Grammy nominations off of those lyrics? Because you knew he was thinking it, and that was one of my worries throughout the film. When her career was getting bigger and she was losing, and her songs were becoming more poppy, I knew he was thinking that, and I was just wondering when he was going to say it and how he was going to say it.
Yeah.
Like I knew he was going to address it to her, like, because he's a very, kind of indie folk country artist with, these really deep, meaningful lyrics in his songs or whatever. So I knew he was going to start basically questioning her musicianship and
I just thought it would have happened in a bigger way. In a more impactful way where you're like, damn, like, who is she now? Like, even you should be like, yeah, who are you? Why are you doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't. It's literally like a passing comment that starts in a fight, and then the fight leads nowhere because then they make up like the next day. And then you're over the fight, and then you're back to normal, and everything just goes by again. And then it goes back to him being a drunk. And you forget all about it. But it's like, I think they should have focused a little bit more on the fame part. That's another thing too. Sorry, I don't mean to get off topic.
No, you're go ahead. You're hosting this whole episode. So.
Wow. No, that's another thing too, that I feel like the scope of it was a little bit weird too. Like, they're famous and you see his fans, but you never get a true sense of like how famous they are. Mm-hmm. And it's always just like,
you don't see like magazines,
or
1, 2, 3,
I know, or fans running into them,
or social media outlets, or
something.
anything like that. You just get, they stick pretty to just like the fans that are at the concerts, or them,
or even when he dies,
or
like,
them
you
in
don't
rehearsal.
see like the fan reaction, like how was everybody reacting? How big of an impact was this? Was he that washed up that, because they kind of allude to that during the Grammy performance, like, we got this new guy, the new young guy. Mm-hmm. Was he that washed up? Did he still have fans? Did people forget about him? Did it bring him back up because he was now dead and people liked him again? Something.
Were they just trying to throw him a bone by including him in that Grammy performance?
You don't get any sense.
His brother mentioned it, right? That they played a song at a bar or something like that he went to.
Yeah, that the young kids were doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I missed that part.
When they're sitting like after he dies and she's sitting in the hallway with the brother.
Oh, dang! I hella missed that part.
Because he's like, I get mad. I don't know why I would get mad in the beginning or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's the one thing that I'm like, this was supposed to be like A Star Is Born and fame and all this crap, and you never get that. And even with him, you never get that. How was this drug, the Grammy thing? How did that affect her? They said that he almost single-handedly ruined her career. How? I mean, we know how, but what happened?
What else?
How did people interpret it? Were people making fun of her because she's still with him? Does she look stupid?
Yeah.
Again, he just made that comment.
Oscar said that same thing too.
Yeah.
Remember you said that? Oscar?
Remember Oscar?
No, but yeah, because he did say that, and that's a pretty large accusation. Like, you almost derailed her entire career, but what specifically? Because if she was fine with it,
she was more sad about the situation, not about her career. And nobody said you got canceled tour dates. Nobody said you have nobody wants to hire you anymore. Nobody said any of that.
You know what? And I don't even know what I want to talk about. In terms of what, because there's a lot of things that we talked about. They just glance over things, but the death scene was one that annoyed me because we got nothing from other than the fact that he died. That's all we got. We haven't. I mean, and we were talking about they should have like had Allie run up to the house or give us a reaction to when she found out or something. Yeah. Like we got nothing. Literally, he died. We saw police sirens flashing, and then we cut to however long it is after he died. So that sucked. That was really unfulfilling. And let me rewind to before that, right before he died, because she was saying, "Oh, we're gonna cancel the last leg of the tour." So it's like when an artist goes on tour, that's a big ass thing.
Yeah, they don't just cancel like that.
And even, I mean, like all the months of preparation to get to the tour and then actually doing the tour and being on the road, doing all those shows night after night.
Like, off of one album, touring the world.
Right. Yeah. And then and how that might affect you and how that might put strain on your personal relationships. Like, we didn't get nothing. I'm like, oh, you're on tour? Yeah. Like, she basically was like, we're just going to cancel the last couple shows.
And then they show that one concert, and then apparently, she's huge because it's a huge auditorium, like huge. It's humongous. Mm-hmm. It's a huge arena, and you're like, oh, I guess she's that famous because she has all these fans off of one album.
Right.
And again, yeah, it's like, how are you just canceling a tour? Or nobody has a contract. Everybody's like, fine, yeah, we'll cancel the tour.
Or even like I'm just rewinding here, but even going back to when she got nominated for the Grammys, and I'm like, oh, okay, like your music is like, I mean, we didn't get like, it would have been nice to get something like her first time hearing her song on the radio, or the first time she saw her music video, or something,
even maybe his lack of communication with her, like maybe now she has all these agents around her, now she has all these makeup artists, he can never fill in time with her. She was very easily accessible all the time. So again, that's another thing that you never feel the sense of fame, because like, how is she famous? She's at home all the time with him. She has time to go home after photo shoots. She's not running around. Like you said, there's just no sense of it. There's no sense of how big she is when they show you, or they want you to think she's that big. So it's like, show me something,
Yeah.
Besides just insinuating it, or just giving us glimpses like, no, we just believe us. She's pretty.
No,
big
trust
right
us. Trust us.
Yeah,
she's really famous.
Right
No, exactly. I mean, that's what we got. So it's like, okay.
Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I just feel like there was, I know you only have so much time to tell this story, and not everything can be included in the film. And it was 2 hour and 60, I don't know what the exact runtime was, but, I know you can't put every single thing you want into it without making it like a super long movie or, a sequel or whatever. But, it just seemed like we got shortchanged on a lot of things that I feel like that could have really added to the film overall.
I agree.
And it's insane because, like, when I was reading the reviews, the critics are loving it and, like, just eating it up. And it's like, and it is a good film. And Bradley Cooper did an amazing job directing. It was his first film. And he starred in it. Lady Gaga was great. Like, their performances were good. I don't know. Am I missing something? I don't feel like it was, like, the best movie of 2018 so far.
It wasn't crystal clear, like super polished. Like, there was definitely room for improvement.
It was like, people had so much potential.
The best, but don't get us wrong. We did love the movie.
Loved it.
I just feel like we're so passionate about it
that's what it is. Yeah, because we're like we're just being nitpicky here.
It's like when people get yelled at, like by their parents, like, I'm yelling at you because I love you.
Exactly.
No, but I was gonna mention. I was hearing this podcast about the Star is Borns, and a thing about the fame was that the Judy Garland one, I guess they show her at his funeral when he dies, her Jack or whatever he is. And the thing with her, apparently, I haven't seen it, so if I'm wrong, but this is what they said on there. They said that as she's leaving the funeral or going to the funeral, like, the fans mob her and, like, they rip off her veil, like she's in a black outfit, and they rip off her veil. So that, like, shows, like, fans don't care. And they were even talking about, like, this is from the 50s, I think this movie is. Mm-hmm. They're like, TMZ doesn't, they refer to, like, TMZ isn't the ones that invented this crazy fandom. Like, people were like this forever, doing this to people. Like, you don't care about their privacy, you don't care about their personal lives. So again, that was a missed opportunity. And then there's also a scene in the Judy Garland movie, which I saw a YouTube video about it, and it's a very, like, deep scene where she's venting to, I don't know who she's venting to, but I think it might have been the friend, but about how she was struggling with the guy and how it was taking a toll on her. And it was a very emotional scene. They literally show like 10 seconds and you could feel like the emotion. Mm-hmm. And I feel like those dramatic scenes would have been perfect to put Lady Gaga in, because I'm sure she was capable of doing it. Those would have been perfect scenes to like highlight all that stuff. But it was again, like, I don't know if they didn't think it was important. I don't know if they thought it was okay without it. But that stuff again would have shown the fame, shown the struggle, and it would have highlighted the actors.
Right.
And it didn't.
I agree.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanna
No,
hit on?
let me see. No, I think I pretty much hit everything. I just have a lot of feelings about this movie. But I did want to mention that Lady Gaga did a really good job at playing an amateur singer, which I think that was a big thing. Mm-hmm. To be a performer and not run in, like, just go back to like, okay, now I'm singing. Now doesn't, like, people just understand that I'm an amateur and they'll forgive that I'm being technically correct and I look comfortable on the stage. She really was able to portray that she was uncomfortable like the first time.
From the acting, yes, I agree. I feel like she was able
music, or lyrically or voice wise, no.
Voice wise, no. Every performance, she killed it.
Yeah,
she killed it.
Yeah.
I mean, like from the first. I mean, everyone. I was like no cracks, no like singing off key, no singing off pitch. Everything was great. So it's like that was hard. And then she played piano, she played guitar, like, or I don't know, did she play the guitar, but she played the piano in the film.
You're adding stuff to
I know. She played the drums, she played the sax. No, but I mean, she was, so that part was a little hard, and I was trying to, I was like, okay, I know it is Lady Gaga,
and she's live. I mean, some of those songs are live, and at first I didn't believe it, but when you hear the soundtrack, you could really hear when it's live and when it's not. Mm-hmm. And the last song, the finale song, which, by the way, was it not very Whitney Houston like? It was like literally like a Whitney Houston song.
Very,
at first,
yeah.
I'm like, is this a cover of Whitney?
Very. I mean, I kept saying very TV movie, very like, very My Heart Will Go On, like. It really it was getting a little, I don't want to say sappy, but it was getting,
if you watch it again, you won't feel that way.
Okay.
Because I watched it again and I try to forgive that. And
okay. Well, maybe I need to watch it again.
I thought that too in the beginning. I'm like, what the heck? Like, now we're getting a big finale concert.
Even the way she came out and she was just like, all this,
and
like,
all the lights.
Yeah, I know.
All dramatic.
But like I mentioned to you guys before, I love that they put in when it was a kind of a flashback of her and him just at the piano simply singing it.
My sister got so sad with that. She's like, that was so sad how they put that. And I got more sad the second time when they did that. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, that just like puts the cherry on the top. That's the only part that pushed it a little bit. Yeah. To tell me like, be sad about this guy, and it did make me sad.
I think it was a perfect choice to end that.
It's really,
to wrap up that scene
Did you read that like she performed that scene like I think once, or maybe she did it multiple times, but she's saying once, and it was a day like her friend died. Like her friend died from cancer. I don't know who this person was, but it was a friend of hers. And then basically, I guess before that scene, the friend was dying, so she rushed to the hospital. And she missed the friend by like 15 minutes. Like she died like 15 minutes before she got there. Damn. And then so she had to go back to set, and then she had to perform that song. And that song is live. I mean, you can hear it. It's live. And that was pretty interesting. And I mean, and that kind of adds to the emotion. And then I guess too, for the other scenes, they didn't to like not let the songs leak, which I was surprised too that the songs never leak, because they have so many live performances with real people and their cell phones everywhere, you know. But they didn't feed the music through the speakers. So it was literally people were just pretending to hear the music.
Oh, really?
And then they had to match the acoustics to whatever arena they were in or whatever setting they were in. So everything's literally like they're singing live, but they're singing to themselves and nobody else can hear it besides, I guess, themselves. And I thought that was pretty cool too. I was like, very smart, and you were able to keep the whole live aspect and instead of just feeding the song through somebody's ears.
Yeah.
And Bradley Cooper, the fact that he can sing live is a really good idea. A really good thing.
I really, really liked his voice, too. I mean, it really was...
I hope they perform at the Oscars. They better. I think that'd be so cool. Because, you know, my thing was, remember La La Land? Like, that would have been... They could have gotten Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling to perform, and they didn't. They just got...
John Legend.
I don't think Bradley Cooper is. I think Lady Gaga will, but not Bradley Cooper.
He said he will. I saw an interview, and they said, "Are you prepared?" And he's like, "I'm sure." He's like, "I'll just have to rehearse a lot." So I think that'd be awesome.
I mean that's I don't think he will do it. He's saying yes, but that's just marketing.
Okay. I know.
I know. Trust me, guys. Trust me. He won't do it. Take my word.
I think he's probably going to have a busy schedule. I don't think he's going to be free between now to January to just be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to just do the song I haven't practiced. Lady Gaga, yes. I think it's going to be one of those.
Don't they have to be free for award season?
For like one night.
Yeah.
I mean, he can, unless he really has been practicing on the outside. I could see Lady Gaga with another celebrity singer doing that.
Not. I'd rather her do it by herself.
I mean, I'm not, like, I could see a country singer. That's how I'm seeing it's going to happen.
Okay.
That's my early Oscar.
Right. I didn't know we were doing predictions here of who's going to perform, but okay.
Well, you mentioned it.
Wow.
That's great. All right, well, favorite scenes from the film?
You go last, Ruben.
Yeah, sorry. I know. You go first.
My favorite scene, actually, it depends on what we're talking about here. If we're talking about, if we're talking about like music wise, if it's music wise, then I really liked the concert performance. Not the I hate the name. I don't hate the name. I keep forgetting the name. Your favorite song?
Always Remember Us This Way.
I liked
That's a good song.
that performance.
That's my favorite song from the soundtrack.
In terms of, because the Shallows just doesn't make sense to be like a scene, but in itself was good. But like scene wise, outside of musical numbers or musical performances, I really did like the Grammy moment because it felt very genuine and innocent in terms of like her trying to give an acceptance speech and at the same time trying to be like, oh yeah, my husband's here. I want to thank this person. If I forgot you, I appreciate you. And then the whole, like, he has his embarrassing moment and the natural, like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I just really liked it. I really liked that scene. I felt like it was played out to the point where I was also just like, oh no, he's like, he's embarrassing both of them. And yeah. Mm-hmm. So that would be both my scenes, I guess. It's kind of hard to just say one.
Okay, that's fine. One of my favorite scenes there was a lot of good moments from this movie.
After we just complained about the whole movie. There was a lot that we wanted, but
I really, really, really liked the scene of when their first night hanging out together, and after, they went to a bar, and then she like punched somebody, and they went to the grocery store to get frozen vegetables for her hand, and then they were just hanging out in the parking lot. I liked that whole scene of them just being in the parking lot because you could just see them like falling in like with one another and getting to know each other more and you knew where it was gonna go, like this was gonna blossom into something. So it was like, I don't know, it just felt really intimate.
I would hope so. It's the beginning of
the
movie.
I know, seriously. And then another one of my favorite scenes was I did like the argument scene because I feel like we just needed some drama, some tension between the two of them, and even though we didn't get that much, it was still very needed. So I liked that. I wish it would have been more volatile, more just like jabs at each other. That would have been cool. But I guess I do like argument scenes because I really liked the argument scene in La La Land. I always say that's one of my favorite scenes too. I like tension.
I wanted something to that extent.
Right.
And it never got there.
So, yeah. I mean, but I still really, really liked it. And I obviously, when she performed Always Remember Us This Way, that's my favorite song from the soundtrack. And I was just like, it was great. It was beautiful. It just did my heart good. So, yeah, those are mine. I have 3. Ruben?
I think the Grammy scene's probably one of my favorites, just because you really get into it. And you're just like, oh, man. Like that, just thinking about what could be running in everybody's heads, and then trying to imagine like if that really happened in real life, like how would that even go down, And that could have totally happened in real life, If somebody is ever like that much of an alcoholic or a drug addict and they're famous and nobody's stopping them, and they would keep the cameras rolling. So, so I like that, and I really, really liked. I like the montage of them together. I like the scenes of them together, the montages of them singing and performing. And again, I feel like we need more. But those were like and the shallow scene. Only because the shallow scene from the movie, it feels very personal. Like you're there with her, with him. You can feel the emotion. And I feel like she really made you feel that. You feel that she was like, I'm nervous. This is crazy.
Yeah, I do love that scene.
Yeah.
Too.
So I think that's. I mean, the song is good, and I still like the song. But I mean, it's no longer about the song. It's more about the acting. But like you guys mentioned, there's a lot of really good scenes in there. Oh, you know what? Sorry. The scene that actually really got me is the scene with he's in rehab and he's apologizing to her after the Grammys. That part, I don't know why, it like really made me sad because it just felt more realistic. It just how sad he was and how apologetic he was being, and he really came across like he was really sincere about, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm sure it would feel really crappy, like you were sick and now you're not, and now you're like, what did I do? And you ruined your girlfriend's best new artist Grammy. Like, you can only get nominated for that once. You ruined her whole first Grammy on national television in front of her dad. And
I didn't even think of
dad.
I wasn't even thinking of that one.
Yeah. When he says about her dad, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that really. I was like, yeah, that's true. Like, you embarrassed her, and that must be embarrassing. You must feel really embarrassed that you did that. That part's that's the one scene that gets a little bit of emotion from me. That was like, okay, like I feel with you, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
He doesn't always get emotional, but when he does.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, all that said, guys, final real scores for this film.
To be short, I guess, just time that's been passed by. I'm gonna give.
Wow.
Throwing jabs over here.
No.
I'm just saying, like, it can be another.
Let's just wrap it up, guys.
I know. We just had a lot of stuff to say.
You did. Both of you did. Good job. Carried the episode.
Wow.
3.5 is gonna be my score, and I feel like 3.5. Oh my gosh, I know it's not my top 10. It was a really good movie. Again, I didn't, have this high expectation that you two may have seemed to have. I was excited for it, but
just throwing jab after jab.
Seriously.
But yeah, no, I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed the music. I would say
didn't enjoy as much as you guys did, but
enjoy as much as you guys did.
I probably wanted to watch this movie.
the flaws. I didn't see all the flaws that you guys. But yeah, no, it really was good. I don't know. To me, it's just the story that was the big portion of it. The pacing of it was a big portion of it to me in terms of overall experience. When I think about it, that plays a factor into me seeing it again. Because what was it? 2 hours and 15 minutes, something like that.
16.
16. There you go. Wow.
1 minute.
I know, right?
Well, you picked the two freaking numbers that are on the either end of that, so.
But yeah, so no, yeah, it was definitely a good movie. You guys pointed out a lot of things that I was like, oh yeah, that's actually not bad. That's actually a bad point, a negative point. It was higher when I first came in this door. Just saying.
Wow.
So because of our
thank you for
our review, we brought it down.
Your highlights and points that you made, excellent points.
Thank you, Oscar.
We appreciate you, Oscar.
That
backhanded compliment.
I know.
All right. Well, I'll go next. I give it a 4 out of 5. I feel like I already said everything I needed to say about it. It was a really, really good film, and I can't wait to see it again, because especially after this episode, because you guys brought up some good points too, and I want to watch it. I just want to go into it. I mean, I've already seen it, but I want to go into it with a different perspective, I guess, and just try to absorb some of the things that maybe I didn't get the first time around. But it was really good. I'm not giving it a higher score because, like I said, I feel like it missed a lot of. It was a lot of fill in the blanks. It was a lot of like, okay, we'll just assume the audience members will get this, or we'll tell them this, and they don't, And I would rather have seen a little more in-depth scenes or a little more, like I had said the other night, like we got a lot of destinations with no journeys. Mm-hmm. So we got a lot of like how they're at the Grammys, they're getting married, they're blah, 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 blah. But we didn't see like how they got there. So I wish we could have done that more. But overall, it was a really good film. The music was great. The acting was great. I think it was just awesome. So 4 out of 5.
Okay. I give it a 4.5. I know. Even though I had all that stuff to say about it, it was really good. I overall it's a solid film. it's definitely a people pleaser. My mom and my sister really ended up loving it, and I was kind of worried about the pace because it was a little slow. I mean, but it seems to be doing well with people that are just general audiences, just going in to just watch it, just to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that really says a lot. But yeah, the only reason it doesn't get like the perfect score is because of what I already mentioned before.
Because he has to watch it one more time.
No. And again, there's no one way or another with like the love scenes or the volatile scenes. It's pretty level. You never get like she's so in love forever and all that kind of stuff. You just understand it. We just have to believe that they are. And and again, that whole imagination is what leads to you feeling bad at the end or not. Like that whole like, they told me to believe that they really loved each other, so I have to believe that she's distraught because he died, you know. So, and without that, it just really doesn't hold up. But somehow they make people believe that, apparently. Yeah, it was a really good film. For what it was, Lady Gaga was amazing. I think that's a big highlight, was that she really, really impressed me with the acting. And I'm not a huge Lady Gaga fan. It's like Lady Gaga forever, you know. I really, if she would have sucked,
but you have your Lady Gaga T-shirt on right now, Ruben.
What? I know, right? But yeah, I knew from the trailer she was gonna be good, but I was really, really surprised by what she was able to do. I thought maybe they would have catered a little bit more to her, like given her easy scenes, you know, that she could skate by. But no, she really showed that she can do it. I mean, so
to some degree, it was almost a natural instinct for a lot of her character choices, reasons, and like, you know, as an artist herself. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out.
Okay.
She had a lot of familiarity with the scenes that Ali had.
I don't think so. She says she's totally different from her character.
And
I believe it. She was never an insecure
Trust
person.
me, guys. Take my word for it. She's not.
She was never an insecure person, and she never started off like that. And the thing is that she had to go backwards. That's my thing, was that she had to go from what she is now, which is like she can be racy if she wants to. She can be edgy. She can be loud. She can be whatever she wants. She can be out there if she wants. But she was able to tone it back and basically go backwards to like a shy and make it believable. That's my thing. Because can you ever think like another actress would have never? I don't think another actress would have been able to have that whole package that Lady Gaga brought. I don't think it would have been the same. There would have been something missing. Maybe in the artistry, maybe in the whole singing, the whole artist aspect of it. Maybe that. But there was something that she had that to me is like, without her, it would have been different. Mm-hmm. She didn't make it generic. That was what I liked, was that it made a difference that Lady Gaga was in it. If she wasn't, it would have been very different. Good or better or worse, I don't know, but it would have been different, and that says a lot that she made it her own, I think.
Okay.
And I stand by all the Lady Gaga fans. I love you guys.
Little monsters. Put your paws up. And then Ruben edits in like Lady Gaga music fading in the background.
As you guys are talking.
That's how we end up.
That's enough of that. Let's listen to some Lady Gaga for the last 2 minutes of the podcast.
Oh my gosh. Please do that. Please throw in some Lady Gaga music, please.
Oh wait, quick last speed round. Favorite song of the movie. Did we say that?
Oh, from Always Remember Us This Way.
Oscar?
He didn't like any of them. Ruben?
No, I think I agree with Donnie. That's my favorite song. I like it lyrically. And then Shallows and Maybe It's Time kind of are like seconds.
Okay. I like the song that they did together, and I forget the name of it.
The one I was in the movie.
It actually plays in the ending of or during the wedding. It's called, I'm bringing it up right now. I Don't Know What Love Is. Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. It plays in the background during the wedding scene for a little bit, but it's a really good song. Very simple. They harmonize amazingly, and it definitely defines everything. Mm-hmm. So it's good.
Awesome. Okay. No, no, that's great. Well, man, we sure had a lot to say about this movie.
I was saving it all week since last week.
You were holding it.
Notes.
He was up all night.
I had big expectations.
He's like, I'm gonna bring this up.
Big expectations. And I had a lot to say.
Well, with a 4.5 out of 5 real
Sounds like
score,
it
then
met,
it sounds
yeah.
like your expectations were met.
It would have been a 4.25, but
Okay.
I know we don't do
We don't do
quarters.
exactly right. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. We want to know what you thought about the episode. Let us know. Let us know what you thought about the episode, and let us know what you thought about the
Never have
movie.
Ruben on again.
Not the movie. We just want to know the episode.
No, just critique the episode, please. We want to know. We talk about enough things for you guys, but no, seriously.
Did we cover everything?
I know. Did we hit all the points that you wanted us to hit? But no, guys, definitely share us your thoughts on the film, if it met your expectations or if it fell a little flat. Also, anyone out there who has seen all the versions of the film, I want to know what your favorite version of it
Which
is.
was your favorite? Yeah. I didn't know you were going to say that. I didn't know you were going to
See how
say
you
it.
But he
tried to
didn't want to host.
I know. Go ahead, Ruben, close us out. Oh my gosh, that was perfect. Well, thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.